What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Ray P, back for another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast. Of course, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my motherfucking soldier. A soldier in the army. No pun. I'm here with Kyron Richardson.
Ha!
Okay, Rich, what's going on?
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, man. That was very clever. Very clever. Nobody out there is going to notice what you just did, but I do, and I appreciate it. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How you doing? How you doing, Rachel?
You know what? I'm doing. I'm okay. Making shit shake, but I'm doing
Making
well.
shit shake. You're gonna have to go and do your best rock impression later on.
That's it. That's it.
It is what it is, though, man. Excited to be here with you again. Obviously, Raising Kanan had a lot of fun having our discussion about episode 1
For
earlier this
sure.
week.
For
And
sure.
now we're on our schedule. So for everyone out there, you should be expecting these episodes Saturday afternoon, Sunday at the latest, usually, unless there's something else that's come up in the schedules. But we'll try to give you heads up ahead of time. We want to make sure you know when to expect these. But thank you, everyone out there, for tuning in, listening, checking us out. We appreciate y'all as always. Looking forward to another phenomenal season. If you aren't paying attention to, or excuse me, if you aren't subscribed to the We Got Y'all podcast, we also are covering the White Lotus
Yes.
season 3.
Yes.
Yes, and those drop usually on Tuesdays. Yes, because we record on Mondays. So check that out. Also, we will be covering BMF once it gets back. So looking forward to. I just want. I said that shit just to see Rachel's face because there's nothing I would. There's an endless list of things that I would talk about before I talk about BMF. I saw the previews for that shit. It was already getting goofy, but I saw the previews of these niggas in Mexico. I'm like, man, get me the fuck up out of here. Get this season, get that show over with.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
that show over
It's
with, man. That shit's silly.
it's
I had to
time.
throw that in there just to see her reaction, Rachel. Because
Listen,
Rachel like, hold on, I ain't.
I
Rachel's about to be like, who you doing that with?
thought we was taking a break. What's going
Yeah,
on?
man. Fuck all that. I might not even watch the new season of BMF if I'm keeping it real. But as I said, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Anybody who's watching Raising Kanan, please tell them to check this out because I think the conversation will be cool. And we want to hear from y'all. We want to
For
make y'all a
sure.
part of the conversation.
Sure.
Yeah. Streaming on Stars. So
Yes.
make sure you have your subscription right. And we are discussing book 3, Raising Kanan, season 4, episode 2, titled It's All Love. Directed by Monty DeGraff. He directed, I think, 6 episodes of. I know he directed 2 episodes of Soul Food, the
Mhm.
TV series, and then he had another show that he directed 6 episodes of. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But this episode was written by Sasha Penn and Dylan C. Brown. The synopsis: with the federal task force seemingly behind them, Kanan and Rock navigate a new business relationship. Just as Unique begins to plot his quest for revenge. Meanwhile, Lou considers a new music opportunity. Marvin goes too far on a side job for Stefano, and Juke tries to adjust to life in the army. Rachel, season 4, episode 2. What were your opening thoughts?
My one. This was again such a good episode. And I'll say you were right about some things. I was right about some things.
Mm-hmm.
But since you did highlight Stefano, it's so funny because I was acutely aware of all of the names. So he
Mm-hmm.
is Grandpa Stefano, but to everybody else, it's Stefano. Niggas.
Yeah, all the niggas call him Stefano, and I noticed that as well. So,
Uh-huh, uh-huh. So
yeah.
I was so weak at that. But again, a very strong episode. And know I said it last week, and I think I said it when we did our just sort of season 3 general overview. The writers always get Raising Kanan right. Um
Mm-hmm.
Juke, again, you were right. She did not make it all the way through. I'm very, very, very surprised. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, because she was still in basic training, is that you don't get a dishonorable discharge because technically you're not sworn in? Is that the way that
Well,
that works or what?
see, see that I don't know, and the reason I say that is because her dude that she was cool with, who
Mhm.
ended up getting a dishonorable discharge. I thought he was also in basic training. So I don't know how that works.
Oh,
And she said it like something like, I know the other foot's gonna drop.
yeah.
So I mean, but Juke don't give a fuck. But it
Ju
is what it is.
It
But
doesn't matter.
there's got to be some kind of connection, and not to get too far into this conversation, but there's got to be some kind of connection down the line, because I cannot see, and I think this is something you said last week, Rachel, cannot see her becoming a police officer or getting in law enforcement with a dishonorable discharge on your record, unless you know somebody, not
Right.
just like somebody basic, somebody up there with some connections, which
Mhm.
would not surprise me, given how things would go. And it seems like they always keep someone in their pocket. The Thomas family. That being said,
Exactly.
so
Exactly. And we know it's not Howard, which is something that I said on our season 3 recap sort of projection. I wonder if that is how she got to the police pipeline, was through Howard and this and the third. But obviously it's not. Juke, I'm proud of her, but I'm curious to see what this looks like. You said it last week. The narration that 50 does before and after is spot
impeccable.
on. And again, this week, it was perfect. And I kept thinking, like, damn, Juke is actually a good ass soldier, but Juke is
Hmm.
not a soldier.
Right.
That's why her ass dropped out of there. She is a trained killer. Being
Hmm.
in the Thomas family prepares her perfectly for a life of not just crime, but
Yeah.
she is battle tested. She is war ready, and she's a leader. Nobody else was hitting those bullseyes in the chest like that. And if I'm a leader, somebody in the higher ranks, I'm looking like, oh, she needs to be on Lioness.
Straight up.
This is somebody who has a special set of skills. Okay, my girl is taken.
Yeah.
She's
I'm about to
doing
say shout out.
and she's doing the taking, for what we
Yeah.
know about Juke in the future. But I thought this was a good episode for her. Again, I said last week, Kanan is a child, and I think that this week also showed us, Kanan, you think you know more than what you do, like most teenagers do. Here we are. You've put yourself in another situation, thinking you were outsmarting everybody, thinking you had all the answers, even more than your mother. And we find out that you don't. Snap, crackle, and pops. We to Rock's point, they didn't get where they are by not dropping some bodies. And Kanan does not realize that. Juke told him last season that they were some gangsters. He act like he ain't believe her, even though he knew who they were. But he didn't know that that same smoke that they have for other people, it extends to you too. You're a kid. It's unfortunate. I'm disappointed and intrigued by Marvin this episode.
Mm.
We knew that he was coming back for um not necessarily coming back, but we knew that he was, I don't want to say doing Stefano's bidding, but doing Stefano's bidding. So I'm a
Hmm.
little disappointed because I don't, he's Rock's gun. I don't necessarily want to see him do that for Stefano.
You said
Per
this last week.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
really want to see him do that. And we spoke so highly last week of his character arc. We were happy that Marvin was woo-signed, happy that he was taking a breath to compose himself and think before he acts. All of that anger management training is out the window. And so now I'm actually a little afraid for Marvin, because we know that he has a short fuse. We know that he is quick-tempered and easily triggered. Clearly, I don't want old Marvin to come back, because when you are quick triggered and quick tempered like that, you fuck up. And I don't want that to be Marvin's scenario. Good to see Lulu. Good to see him
Hmm.
out. You know,
Hmm.
my eye is on him and all that he has going on. Him and David Geffen.
Yeah, straight up.
Y'all like slick. Is all of that to say, what are your thoughts?
uh, that was a lot. That was very well said. That was a lot and a great recap, pretty much, of what's going on.
Mhm.
I agree. It feels like the writers know, or the creator, Sasha Penn, he knew exactly how the story was going to go. I think he had an outline for how many seasons he wanted to be, what the
Yeah.
storylines were going to be, um, and kind of what the end result was going to be for each character.
Mhm.
And you could tell, and I say that because as we're discussing the White Lotus, we've been talking about the slow starts, getting into that. This is how you kind of get into a season. And it's
Exactly.
really, you can kind of look at this as episode one because, as we mentioned last week, we really didn't have any clue of what the aftermath was. We just saw how it got to the finale.
Mhm.
Now, this is our first time really seeing what do these relationships look like in present day, or
Yeah.
present day, early 1990s is what I'm saying. And it was fascinating to see how some things are shaking out and how there's still a lot of things left to be unsaid, or left unsaid, should I say? A lot of discussions that still need to be on the table. I always find it intriguing how the Thomas family could just kind of brush by shit.
Yeah.
Um, Kanan even makes a mention of it later in the end of the episode when he's talking to his grandmother. Like, I know we keep a lot of secrets in this family, but this don't seem like one of those we should keep. Um, that line is more than about his grandmother's cancer. There's a lot of
Yeah,
things that
for
people don't
sure.
know. And you mentioned it with Marvin, and I said it last week. I was not a fan. That was that's Stefano's version of Victor Sweet's out of town shooters,
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
can't get my people to take care of this business, but I can get you. And even though we are still in Queens, you are black.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's how they look at him.
Mhm.
And I thought it was interesting when, I'm sure we'll talk about it more in detail, but Rock's proposition to take, Stefano out. Hey,
Mhm.
you can get a get out of jail free card. And it's something to consider because Rock looked at it like you want us to snitch, which I thought was interesting because it's kind of known in the Italian crime culture. Niggas snitching on a nigga ain't snitching.
Right.
Like, that's how little we think of you. Like, we don't, you're not even breaking our codes because you a nigga. Like, what are you talking about? So there's a lot of things going on, but I really don't like the fact that Marvin is getting all chummy, having cigars, making jokes and things
Yeah.
because of situations like this. What happens when you mess up? This is cool when everything's going right. What happens when you mess up and do something that Stefano told you strictly and specifically not to do?
Like today.
Like today, right? You said that. You brushing it off like, oh, it ain't no thing. There's 20 niggas all throughout Queens on every block that could do what he did. I don't know, man. Stefano said specifically, and even him, I forget his name, said, I make a lot of money for
Mhm.
Stefano. Like, I call the shots, nigga. Those who make the money really have the power.
For sure.
That's how a lot of this works. You did bring up an interesting point. I gotta stop saying interesting. You did bring up something that was,
Noteworthy.
yeah, I was gonna say fascinating because I didn't think about it in this way. That wouldn't have happened last season because Marvin he did have his breath control, he did have his therapy.
Mhm.
When you do things the right way, and this I think everybody can kind of apply this to everything in life. When you do things the right way, you buy into the program,
Yeah.
and that program is not who you normally are.
Mhm.
So you make yourself vulnerable, you open yourself up to it, and then you get your ass kicked for it.
Yeah.
Fuck that program. Everything that I thought it was, I can no longer trust.
Mhm.
So when
Mhm.
Lou mentions therapy, like, fuck all that.
Yeah.
Because not only did I buy in, I was cool with this nigga Gerald.
I
Like,
was cool with
concerned for his family.
Mhm. Mhm.
And he tried to play me. Like, he was an informant trying to get me set up to go to jail after all I did for him, man. Fuck all that. So you know what? I'm gonna go back to my old rules, and it's a nice little balance of I'm not the hothead that I was in our earlier seasons, but I'm also not season 3 cool, calm, collected. Because that should have never happened,
Mhm.
regardless of who disrespects you. There's been plenty of times that happens where you get disrespected, but you know
Yep.
what? The orders ain't to take you out, so I'm gonna cool off. But
Yep.
trust me, as soon as I get the chance, nigga, I'm taking your head off. That's
That
one you just put in the back pocket.
that's it. That's it.
But also, Rachel, go ahead.
I wanna know what you're gonna say.
if you are going to get a black person, a
Mm-hmm.
black man, riled up and questioning,
Yep.
that is the way to do it. Question his existence and your role in all of this. Like, you
Mhm.
doing the white man's work. You carrying the white man's water. You stepping fetching, nigga. Like, I'm the real nigga, and you out here doing
The white
Stefano's
man
dirty
spinning.
work.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
All of that. And also, I'm coming off of Marvin's conversation with Kanan last week about their father, about Elijah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
This man who didn't let nobody play him, who was his own man, his own boss, this, that, and the third. If I have fresh in my mind how my father used to beat ass and didn't work for anybody and take anybody's stuff, and here is this other black man that's beneath me, I have that force, that pumped up chest also going on with inside of me, because who the fuck you playing with? Y'all
Yeah.
must have forgot. And clearly he didn't know. And so Marvin had to show him essentially who he was.
He called
That
that man a bitch
conversation is
ass.
not over. He called him a bitch
He
ass
called
nigga.
bitch ass nigga for the white man. Come on, man.
I, I ain't saying Marvin had to put him down, but he had to do it for his own pride's sake, this, that, and the third. But despite he and Stefano getting off the phone, that conversation is not over.
Oh no, no, it can't be.
Yeah.
It can't be. No, not at all. Because you fucking with my money.
Hmm.
So I would not be surprised if next week Stefano puts Marvin in charge of finding the replacement.
Yep. Yep.
Or if you're not finding the replacement, you gonna owe me the bread that I was getting in from this, because now my bread fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? So you
Yeah.
gotta figure that part out. And I'm looking at you sideways. Ain't no cigars next time you come by. Ain't no jokes. Ain't no ha ha he he's.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's and now you're indebted. That favor that Stefano owed you, now you owe it to him.
Now you owe me. Yep.
And it doesn't balance out. It's not a hey, I owed you already, so let's call it even. Nah, it don't work like that. And that was the biggest thing that I was concerned about when it came to Marvin getting in bed with him.
Mm-hmm.
One thing goes wrong, it's gonna get real fucked up. It's gonna get real fucked up. Since we're talking about Marvin,
Yeah.
I think it plays to what you just mentioned about the conversation he had with Kanan about his dad and just who he is as a businessman. We
Mm-hmm.
see him play the enforcer. And I think this episode was really meant to kind of show us that Marvin's still Marvin.
Yeah.
Played the enforcer, went to go get his food, and saw the nephew stealing
Mm-hmm.
um, right in front of him, pulled out the gun, get his ass out of here. Let me make sure y'all know what time this is. Like, I don't know who y'all think I am or what you think we're doing here, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to make sure you keep an eye on your people, because y'all skimming off the top and we're not having it.
You're so right. And now that I'm sitting here thinking, the episode told us multiple times that oldish Marvin is back. The
Mm-hmm.
car ride back with Lou, fuck that therapy shit, this and the third. Now we're here. Not only am I not breathing, I'm pulling a gun on you and kicking you out and letting everybody know in here what the fuck is up. And please have my damn extra fortune cookies. That's two. Now, strike three, essentially, now you've shot and killed this other bookie. Marvin's aggression, each little thing is escalating. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little step above the next. Each act is a little bit more aggressive, not necessarily egregious, depending on how you look at death.
Yeah. Yeah.
But definitely the aggression factor is steady climbing. And so I'm very curious to see where it goes beyond here.
Yeah, it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation, especially we haven't even mentioned the fact that Rock finds out at the end of this episode that Marvin is meeting with Stefano. So now
Mhm.
there's going to be some questions now.
And
And
not
if I
about no damn
know,
fish tanks.
not about no damn fish tanks, if I know Rock the way I know Rock, Rock is going to be observing Marvin before she even approaches. She's not
For
going to
sure.
have. She's not getting Marvin the opportunity to lie to her until she knows all the information
Mhm.
on what it is that they're actually meeting about. Because what could you possibly be meeting and talking about one on one,
Yeah,
and not telling me about it?
and not telling me about it. That's the thing.
I don't know.
Why do you think Marvin kept that to the chest?
I think part of it is him feeling needed by himself and not needed for, oh, I'm Rock's sister. Rock's brother. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like
Okay.
people want to get close to you to get to Rock. It's like
Mhm.
when you're a kid, right? For anybody, any kid, any man or boy that had an older sister knows what it's like for the niggas to be nice to you and bring you the Skittles because they're trying to get at your sister. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's just kind of how it is. There's always a connection to the main event or the main attraction
Yeah.
that people try to get in with. And we see that often. Oh, I'm gonna get close to the person next to the person.
Mhm.
And by proximity, I can be around the person. And I
Yeah.
just think that he felt this is an opportunity for me to be the person. Like he
Okay.
wants me to do this work. We
Mm.
out here having cigars. I feel like I'm a part of this thing. You know, I'm getting paid for it. They was out here chopping it up about or laughing about Tommaso, you know, wild out, fuck niggas up, laugh about it. You know, shout
Yeah.
out to Freeway. That's what
Yeah.
they were on. So he felt that, and he probably hadn't felt it in a long time where, you know what? And I think we haven't talked about it fully because we never really discussed Raising Kanan in that way, but you gotta feel the way about your little sister taking over the business. You know, regardless of how you got into jail and you took, you know, you had your habit,
Yep.
that's still my little sister.
Yep.
I raised you
Mhm.
and you talking to me. And once again, you telling me what you giving me when I should be the one running this whole shit. So you know what? When I get this opportunity to run my shit, I'm gonna run it. And that ain't got nothing to do with you. And it's not how it's not how you should do business.
That's not how you should do business, but you just reminded me, not really because I have it in my notes, but triggered.
Yeah.
You just triggered the thought about Rock running the business. And you said it last week, everybody's piece is my piece. Here you are with my connect making a side deal that you cutting me out of. That's
Mm-hmm.
weird. That's tricky. Lulu, here you are using my lawyer to do some side shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, dog. That ain't how none of this goes. That's not
Mm-hmm.
how any of this goes. It's not, it hasn't gone like that. It don't go like that. And it ain't gonna go like that. All of them are gonna have to hear from Rock in some form or fashion. And I'm including Kaden in that, all of them.
Oh, I can't wait for the next family meeting. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going down.
Because, well, it's going down, but I'm telling you, let's count this as a prediction somewhere throughout the season. I don't know when it's going to happen. This might be the first family meeting where people really buck back at Rock.
Hmm. Okay.
Because if you're doing this,
Hmm.
unless something bad really happens, unless
Yeah.
Marvin's mistake leads to something that causes the rest of the family to have an issue, and you can't buck back, because nigga, how dare you? Right?
Yeah.
You got us fucked up out here. You sit down and you take your talking to.
Hmm.
But if it's one of those, once again, I can do this. I can be a star. I can be a star in my role. Think, I don't know, in sports, you got two players that are really good. One person like, man, I ain't about to be the sidekick, nigga. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Because I can be just as good, if not better than this guy. And I want to prove that. I don't think
Well,
it's
we see.
and you know what you know what the compelling thing about all this is?
What?
There's no sense of jealousy though. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's not like Marvin's jealous. It's more of it's something for him. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to be viewed as this. I don't want y'all on the streets to think, oh, that's Rock's bitch.
Hmm.
Nigga, I'm
Hmm.
Marvin motherfucking Thomas.
Yeah. So,
He wants
like
it
a,
to be a stringer. He wants it to be a stringer Avon situation. Like, we should have more equal power
yeah.
versus I'm D'Angelo and you just running me around. Or I'm Weebay and I'm just your hitter.
Yeah. You love The Wire.
I love that shit.
You love The Wire.
uh,
So, where you want to go? You want to
so we
go?
just talked. So here's a couple of things, right? I just want to mention. We just talked about Marvin, so we got him kind of. We have that discussion already taken care of. I do want to just mention the beginning of the episode because we do get, as I mentioned, this is our first time really understanding what's going on present day. We get the aftermath and the fallout of Detective Howard's murder,
Yes.
right? So they're pretty much saying, yo, he was dirty. He was involved with some drug dealers. He got national, what do you say, foreign nationals.
Foreign
It's all
national.
sticky things. But as of right now, all we know is we had a dirty cop. Unless we find out something, the investigation's over. And this was the exception, not the rule, right? This is just one person going rogue. No need for anybody to be weary or to be suspicious about trusting our precinct.
Yeah.
And we do have Captain Baptiste who said he ain't going.
Period.
Dirty or not, you just ain't about to be out here killing cops.
Yeah.
And we know there's something about knowing that the story is a lie and wanting to be the whistleblower. Like, nah. And I think that is something real. I thought it was interesting when he said, I'm about 6 months from them forcing me to retire early. And I believe him when he says, I cannot have this lingering over me for the rest of my fucking life. That's going to be something that haunts him. Like the mishaps, the mistakes. It's never the wins.
Yeah.
Right? It's never the wins. Like coaches always talk about in sports, some of the wins, the big milestones and all that, they rarely remember. But the losses, they can recount them shits like yesterday. If anybody's seen the movie Rounders, right? Matt Damon's character said, man, I can't remember how I built my bankroll, but I damn sure remember how I lost it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's one of those things where I just think he is really going to take this serious. I don't know. I guess Garcia is going to be okay, but I thought it was interesting that he's recruiting other people when it's already a dirty division. Like you just had Howard doing a bunch of shit you weren't aware of. How do you know nobody else is involved in this? So we're going to take you out of here too if you get too close. I don't know, man. He did have the theory that whoever did this is probably the same person that tried to take him out earlier, which we saw in season 1.
Correct.
Which he is correct. He is. He didn't become captain by mistake. He's putting the pieces together. And I just want to point out, Burke's name was mentioned at the press conference. Said this last week. Her name getting. I'm just stating that storyline is not over. Pops is coming back at some point. Something is going to happen. I had some weird theory. It's not really a theory because it's half baked and I don't really know where to go with it. I had some odd thought that Burke's dad is going to be the one that helps out Juke.
Okay.
Who knows that Burke told her dad about Juke? Remember, Burke and Juke they had something.
They had something, correct.
They had something, some kind of understanding. Let's put it like that. And I don't know. That's the only way right now that I see Juke getting kind of into that, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. But that's all I wanted to mention, that going in. And then I guess we can mention Unique because it wasn't a Unique heavy episode or a Rock heavy episode for that matter. Right. Most of Rock's dealings were because of other members in the Thomas family / Stark family, / Howard family. Unique, listen, we ain't about to be doing this head pat shit all season, Unique. We get it. You fucked up. Yeah. We ain't gonna be doing that all season, y'all. But he is trying to put the pieces together. Goes by the old crib, sees, the eviction notice on the door, punches the hole through the wall. Pernessa is her name? Yes. Shout out to the 90s. Or really, I guess the 70s. Pernessa, he sees Pernessa. Obviously, he's a ghost, so he can't really say anything. But he's just trying to get a scene of the whole neighborhood, see what's really going on. And I don't know if you want to talk about the attorney now or you kind of wait towards the end.
We can talk about it, but what bothers me is that Unique it's only been 2 months.
Yeah.
Has it been 2 months since? We know it's been 2 months since the Kanan killing of Howard and Ronnie, but how many months has it been since Unique has been down? So is that 4 months? Is that 3 months? How long?
So last week's episode was 3 months from Unique getting his head cracked.
Okay.
So everything that happened last week started 3 months prior to present day.
So we're at 5 months, essentially.
Yeah. Because Unique, because not Unique, but Juke is going out to training, so time has passed
Yeah.
since then. Yeah.
So
5-6 months.
we're at 5-6 months. I'm not saying it like that, but I'm about to say it like that. 5-6 months. If Unique was doing all of that, Panessa, you already evicted?
Yeah, man. Where the emergency
Where
stash?
is the money? If Unique was Rock's biggest competition.
I just thought of something though.
Ronnie stealing?
Well, not that, but Ronnie not only did he steal, he stole that house. He got her up out of there. Maybe she doesn't even know. Maybe she didn't even think to go back. Maybe, does she even know Ronnie's dead?
Yes, it's on the news
Okay.
because he died in the thing with Howard. So we know that.
Facts.
But even if he got her up out that house, why is it already eviction? This is New York. Yes, early 90s. If you are the biggest, second biggest dope man, why you don't own that house?
Should own it.
You should
have the
own
emergency stash.
it, because come back or not, if Ronnie had not been dead, you would have gotten your get back and got your bitch back in your house.
Not to mention, juxtapose that with my nigga Lou didn't get evicted when he was gone for all this time.
Come on.
Not only that, but nobody even fucked with the shit. It was still dirty the same way he left it. And that was the first thought I had. Like, yo, this nigga ain't got to find a new spot. Like, they was cool. So obviously somebody was making sure that rent was being paid and he had somewhere to go afterwards. Or
unless Rocky and Marvin was paying rehab and his rent.
Or Lou doesn't take me as a rent to month type nigga. Here's some cash.
Yeah.
I'm renting this out for the next 2 years, whatever it was. Because I forgot that it made me think like, damn, Lou did have a house that got burnt the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
A nice setup and everything. So yeah, it's probably just some temporary shit. But either way, I digress.
I don't know. That was very curious to me. Yeah. I don't want to see Unique doing the head patting. We understand you have a headache.
Yeah, we know you fucked up.
We know you fucked up, and you're also trying to remember. I hate that I'm gonna have to hate Unique this season.
Yeah.
There is no redemption song for him. And I think I said it last week. The Thomases are 1000% gonna have to put him down.
Yeah, Unique has to die.
I've got to get you before you get me. And clearly we saw him stalking last week. And even this week's episode, he is a ghost still currently, but he's making his presence known because now you've killed Rock's lawyer.
Yeah. Unique has to die to uphold the integrity of the show.
For sure.
And we've been singing Raising Kanan's praises about the directions they take and the writing they have. This is where the original Power started going awry. When you have situations where you know there's only one outcome, but there's still some little weird loophole to keep them around for an extra season or to keep them going. It's almost like a lot of people were out when Kanan came out that fire.
Yeah, for sure.
After that fight with him and Ghost. It just seemed a little bit like, all right, this guy. Now, did it make the show entertaining to have Kanan around? Absolutely. Do we get Raising Kanan if we only have 2 seasons or a season and a half of Kanan and Power? No. So I get it. But from a storyline perspective, when it's time for people to go, they got to go.
They got to go.
Last season was Unique's redemption. You fucking with Rock. They getting along. There are things going. You saved him last year. Can't save him this year.
Can't save him again. He's got
unless it extends to. Unless you're telling us that this season you have to give us timestamps if you're going to do this. It's very constricted, and maybe this entire season is in a 1 month span, I don't know, and he gets somebody on their side,
Yeah.
I don't know who that person would be. And then it kind of bleeds over into next year. But there's no, I just don't want to see some coincidence or loophole where Unique is now working and they get back cool. It just doesn't work like that. And you
He
got
can't.
it. Somebody got to go.
He can't. He
Yeah.
can't. I was playing with the idea of him showing nobody else but Panessa that he's alive, and maybe she tells him, actually, Rock helped me, this, that, and the third. She actually fills in the blanks that Early left out because he was not privy, but he still has to die even after getting that information.
And I love that. That's a great thought. And I would roll with it, Rachel. But they put, after you said that, I'm like, damn, that's good. They put too much stock into the he's not going to be the same person he was before this accident. So they're
That,
letting us know
yeah.
reason is not going to work with this nigga. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
That's why he still got to go. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. I want
Oh
you to
yeah,
get
okay, yeah,
a
yeah.
complete story, but you still got to get on up out of here. Even if you're not, even if you get that story and not necessarily logic calms you down, you rethink some things, but the damage is done. The lawyer is dead. Now the Thomases are going to be alert or on guard for anybody. So unfortunately, you just punched your own ticket regardless.
Now, now I will say this:
Hmm.
I will not be surprised if there is a setup where Unique ends up in jail versus dead.
Okay. Okay.
Whether it's I found out it was you that dropped my lawyer and we get you put up that way. I don't know if it's Garcia keeps running up on Kanan and
Hmm.
maybe there's a plan to point the dogs towards Unique. It was
Hmm.
his brother that was involved. He's got to
Yep.
know you.
Yep.
I'm just saying, I can see that if you don't want to kill the character of Unique, I can see him going to jail and taking it from there. But we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be very interesting. I can't wait to see who's
I'm
right.
excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Um, we talked a lot about Juke. The one thing that we didn't mention was her actually going to Atlanta once she went AWOL.
Definitely AWOL out here.
Because they gonna bring you back.
Oh,
So
what?
she takes the bus to Atlanta. She makes her way to Spelman and is just standing on the yard looking for Aisha. Luckily, she runs up on her and they have a beautiful moment of reconnection.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. I like to see, people talk about college and it's whether or not it's necessary, this and the third. Now, even in the few months Aisha has been gone, we see like growth in her. We see her style has changed a little bit. She's more confident. She's not made herself sick since she left New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just sort of the young woman we see her developing into. And the conversation that she has with Juke, I thought was really, really, really good. Shout out to her for having her own dorm room, because I ain't
How you
gonna
pull that
say
off?
it's almost unheard of, but even Whitley ain't have her own room. So shout
Right,
out
right, right.
to that. But it is clear that Aisha lived a very different life, very clearly, than Juke. So maybe there is some familial money or legacy, this, that, and the third, as to where she was able to do that. But they have a cute little reconnection in the room by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Juke is Juking. Hello.
Juke is juking. She's spinning. She's spinning records.
She's spinning records, and we love that. We love that for she and Aisha. I said it at the top, and I said it last week. Because of the situations that the Thomas children find themselves in, very grown, very mature, very adult. It's very easy to forget that they're young as hell. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're 18. You still a kid. Because thinking you're not only AWOL, but just gonna hull up in my dorm room is crazy.
Insane. The hold on. First of all, the pull up without, and I know it's the '90s, and I know cell phones aren't a thing, but the unexpected slash unannounced pull up to my
Uh-huh.
dorm, to my campus. Listen, if you've been to college, you know that can get a little bit tricky.
Sticky.
Um, yeah, very much so. You never know what you might walk into. And to Aisha's point, I'm figuring out that I need to find out who I am.
Yeah,
I really love their conversation
I did.
because that is a conversation that you have at 18, 19 years old, realizing how much you don't know. Because there's a point in your life, maybe towards the tail end of high school, where you feel like you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then life quickly tells you you don't know shit.
For
And it's
sure.
really about how quick we can really adjust to that.
Mm-hmm.
How quick we can how quick we can listen to, oh, I don't know anything. Maybe it's time for me to sit my eyes down and
Yeah.
learn a few things. And Aisha is doing that. And you can tell as time goes on, the love doesn't change, but my life is different.
Exactly.
And you
Exactly.
don't fit the same way that you did. It doesn't mean that I fuck with you less. You just don't fit in what I got going on now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you pulling up, Juke, and I appreciate you feeling that I'm a safe space to
Yeah.
come and figure things out. I wish we could figure this out together, but that ain't this. And if I go back and I kind of make this space for you, then it's going to be difficult for me to find out who I am because
Mm-hmm.
you're such a big part of what I left in New York. And
Exactly.
it's actually been exhilarating leaving all of that behind and kind of becoming this new person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that happens way more than it doesn't in college. There's plenty of times when even people I went to high school with, if I went to a different campus, I'll never forget going back home to UC,
Mm-hmm.
um, like going to like a party or something, and somebody I went to school with was being discussed, and I'm like, huh, that
Yeah.
person? But
Yeah.
people can reinvent themselves and really try to figure out who they want to be, and they don't have the baggage of a nigga like me being
Mm-hmm.
like, I would never call nobody out like that, but a nigga like me saying, I know that nigga, he ain't like that.
Yeah.
So,
Especially if you go away. I
mm-hmm,
think it's a much harder task. So obviously we talk all the time. Kyron and I met in college at the University of Toledo. I am from Toledo, but I lived on campus versus being a commuter student. Um, I'm
it's just
not
a
saying
difference.
it's just a different experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not saying that to say I switched up when I got to campus because that wasn't the case, you know. But
Rachel been Rachel. Rachel been Rachel.
hello. Uh, but your ability to immerse yourself with different people and different types of people versus what you grew up, that environment, what you're used to, it naturally changes you. It shifts your perspective, it broadens your horizon. And so I'm so happy that Aisha is doing that. And had she been Aisha in Queens, she probably would have let Juke stay.
100%.
So now that I'm here and experience all that is Atlanta, you really got to get the fuck up on out of here. But I'm
Yeah.
for you. I appreciate you. Come back.
Yeah. Come back and holler at me. Come back and holler at me, but you
You
ain't
will
staying
get your
here.
home, maybe. You know, we'll work it out. But I appreciate you, and I just thought that that was a really sweet moment between them, and I appreciate how Juke took it in stride. She wasn't offended. She understood, and I think her also, despite not being able to be herself in the army, in basic training, I think that even that environment, I don't want to say was good, quote unquote, for her, but it was beneficial as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And Juke is learning out about herself, and she's always been mature.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I do appreciate her taking what Aisha said in stride. And she knew. Like she even acknowledged, like, yo, maybe I should have called. Like, my bad. Like, I know that I just laid a lot on you. I'm like, nah, I fuck with you, like I said, but it can't be like that. I also want to just shout out Juke that nigga. That basic training shit, that was nothing. That was easy work. She's mentally strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what's really going to separate her. And she learned some new skills along the way. Like,
For sure.
yeah, I'm a born killer, but I
Mhm.
also know how to actually get the shit popping. They
Right.
doing activities and drills, and I'm kind of leading things and communicating. So she's a leader and a shooter, and that's gonna be useful for the Howard family.
For sure. For the Thomas family.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Howard. My bad. For the Thomas family. Thanks for that correction.
Before
Um,
we come up off of Juke, one thing I do want to end with Kanan, but we got all three members of Butter this episode as
yeah, we
Kanan
did.
continues to have relations with Crystal.
Yeah,
Crystal clearly was not happy to see Juke, and the feeling was mutual. So I am going to be keeping my eye out on what that relationship looks like. As clearly, Kanan said, "You're my girl." He's not coming up off of her, and clearly, she's not coming up off of him. So I'm very curious now with Juke back for however long. Back in Queens, what that relationship looks like because they are so close. You had tried to get me jumped, and I be all they ass. You've been jealous of my singing and vocal abilities. This bumps heads. And so I'm wondering how not only Juke, but also Kanan will navigate that relationship. We also know that Crystal too visited the chop shop. So I was curious and I was of the belief that maybe Crystal was Sean's mother, but maybe not. So we'll
yeah,
see
me
how
too.
that plays out.
Juke gonna get her Remy on.
Okay.
She gonna shoot Crystal, if not kill her.
Okay.
I don't know how or the circumstances. Juke, that's gonna be the turn when we saw
Yeah.
Juke Stone Cold Killer. Like
Got
Juke
it.
gonna kill Crystal straight up.
Okay.
Yep, I see it. I see it happening already.
Okay. Cause she slide.
You said what?
Cause she let her slide before. And I know
You
that
know
they
why?
Elo.
You talking about because of the jumping and shit?
Uh-huh.
I think part of that was because of Butter,
For sure. All of it was
and now I think she's not. Even when she sat down at the table with them, I think she's not. Juke's not pressing the issue just because I'm the reason. High key
mm-hmm.
that Butter's not around anymore. The feds came and pulled up looking for me, and they shut
Mm-hmm.
down our shit, and the label got spooked. So I really don't have much to stand on. And you really have Crystal, you have every right to be upset with me, but I still don't fuck with you. You
Yeah.
can't, right? You send somebody to come get me. That's lifetime beef. It's
That's a
lifetime. It's always up.
but you just said something very interesting. Yes, the feds pulled up to our shit because of me, but it's not because of anything I've done.
Yeah.
They're questioning me about my father. So you can't hold something against me in regards to something that is related to my family and then be laid up with Canaan.
Rationally, you are 100% correct. Crystal is
These are
not rational.
girls. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Crystal's not rational. You're
Got
100% right. If I don't like you,
it.
if I'm a teenage girl and I don't like you, a
Yeah.
teenage person, I mean, not put it to girls. I'm a teenager and I
Sure.
don't like you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anything that you do that's funny, I'm pointing that shit out.
Got
And they
it.
did this and they did that. So yeah, that's gonna be something to keep an eye out on. But I really think I say one thing, say one more motherfucking word. I promise I'll end your shit right now.
Got
And I
it.
think that's what's just gonna come with Juke and Crystal.
Okay.
And that's gonna be something that's gonna be a very odd wrinkle in the Kane and Juke relationship.
Yeah.
There's got to be more stuff that we're going to learn throughout this course of the 90s that led to Kanan rationalizing the decision he made in power. There's just got to be. Like, it's got to be something that we've bumped heads. Now, yeah, we family, yeah, we close, but we don't even know how much time had passed since they had been in communication after I mentioned earlier, after Kanan got fucked up in that fire. Right? So I
Well,
see them bumping heads multiple times and doing some things that may be unforgivable if it
mm,
not if not for the fact that we're family, we're cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. You got my wheels turning. You got my wheels turning because remember though, Kanan was in jail. I can't see Juke not looking out for him.
Yeah, I can see that. Just maybe not on the same level. I guess the main point is I think they've done things to each other
Mm-hmm.
where if it was anyone else, it'd be
It would be out of
unforgivable and it'll be over. But there's still this mutual respect of how we grew up and the family we were raised in
here. Mm-hmm.
to know that only you and I really get this.
Yeah,
I understand why you doing the fucked up shit you're doing, and you understand why I'm doing the fucked up shit that I'm doing, and it kind of balances each other out. So we might not be cool like that no more, but I'm not gonna leave you hanging
for
because
sure.
that's embedded in us, right? That time is family, though. That's embedded in us.
For sure.
I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'm pissed off at Lou, but guess what? We're gonna pay for your rehab, and we're gonna make sure you tight. You know what I mean? So I think that's something I'm very interested to see because
Okay.
there's gonna be some issues and some bumps in the road. We've already seen it with those two.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about Lou.
Yep, that's just what I was about to say. Um, Lou is home from rehab. Shout out to Marvin for going to get him.
The importance of, let me just say real quick,
Mm-hmm.
it's important right now that you stay busy. When niggas don't care, they get careless.
You took the words literally right out of my mouth. Uh-huh.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
I really just appreciate the fact that Marvin told him when you, and this is something that I've learned, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I've learned one thing about addiction. We always talk about the person who's addicted, and we don't really focus a lot on the people who aren't and like who are still their family or close with them and trying to help them navigate this new world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of it. Like, I don't want to see you, like, first of all, it's back to business. I'm not gonna will you back into what we do,
Yeah.
but you gotta find something to do. Cause my nigga, like, as much as I love you, as much as I'll pay for this and I'll look out for you here, you can't, like, we can't have you willingly going back. Like, what are you doing to stay out, and what are you doing to keep things clear? And just the fact that Marvin brought that up and told him, like, listen, I don't know what it is, but you gotta find something you gotta do.
Yeah. I like that. And Lou clearly did find something to do. He was sought
Yeah.
out by I should have wrote his
Lowell.
hmm?
Lowell is his name.
Lowell.
Lowell.
Yeah, something with a G. Because that's why I said, okay, fake David Geffen. But
Yeah, I forget his last name. Yeah.
yeah, it was something with a G. It was something like that too, like Geffen, but not that. Um, he's also been to rehab and he had been waiting for Lou. We now know that Famous has sort of signed the deal and his single is blowing up. I appreciated Lou that he said, I'm going to take this meeting. I'm going to listen to the music that you asked me to listen to, but I don't think that I'm ready to do everything that you're asking me to do. And that wasn't fear. That was being realistic about your capabilities, even though I do think that Lou has a gift. So I like that Lowell was like, no, dog, I hear you,
Mm-hmm.
but this what I'm saying. I hear what you saying, but this
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm saying. I really appreciated that back and forth. So maybe this is a pre Leor Cohen, Kevin Lyles relationship that we're seeing the genesis of because Lou does have an ear for music. He does have an eye for talent. We saw that with Famous's sister. We saw that with Famous Juke and then now Be Rilla. He understands it and he can get it in a way that Lowell can't, not just because he's from the street life.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Street Life.
Shout out to the street life, but he knows music. He gets it honest. Again, shout out to Elijah Thomas. Is Be Real Party Next Door?
No, that's Partisan Fontaine. That's
Partisan
Megan Thee
Fontaine.
Stallion's old dude. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I said P Party. That's all I didn't know.
Yeah, party. Yeah, you're right. You're right about the party. Everything else is a little bit different.
Okay. I was like, I know that I've seen this face before in this speech
Yeah,
tape.
man. You got one of the most infamous down bad photos ever. Not him down bad. I don't even want down bad might not even be the definition. But that photo of Meg hugging his legs, or that
Oh,
nigga looking down, that's like one of those, like, yeah, I got
he was down
it.
bad. He was not. He was very much up.
He was not down bad.
Mhm.
Maybe she was like she was going anyway.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, Gelfand.
Gelfin. Hmm.
Lil Gelfand is his name. Yeah, so they didn't even try to hide it. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah, really, all I have to say about Lou is he has a gift, as you just mentioned. He has an eye for talent.
Hmm.
The wildest part is something you already discussed earlier. Nigga, you use my attorney to get this nigga out of jail.
Crazy. Without speaking to me, without
I
even asking,
guaranteed it.
guaranteed it.
Like, nigga, if you in, I'll get you out today. Obviously, that shows how much he believes in
Be
Be Realer.
hmm.
I just don't know where the Lou story. We've been spitting out predictions all episode. I don't know where the Lou storyline goes and how it plays into it. Are we just gonna have? We know something's gonna get fucked up, right?
Of course.
Or I'm just thinking about this in real time. Be Realer, a street nigga.
Hmm.
Your sister who? What y'all do?
Mm.
Oh, I can help y'all out with that.
Mm. Okay.
Because I'm trying to think of what else. Are we just gonna have a season of just Lou and Be Realer? Is he gonna be his manager and just help him with this album? Be Realer, we see him get out of jail for a body. If I'm not
Rob.
mistaken, it was a robbery. Right?
Hmm.
We see him get out of jail for a robbery. I'm a street nigga for real. One thing about some of these street niggas is they can't stay out of the streets. That's just who they are. No different.
Means
Performers and artists. What 50 said at the end, man.
performance and artists.
Soldiers are trained. Killers are born.
Yeah.
These street niggas are born. He's
Mm.
not gonna be. I can't be this close to. Just had that conversation too. Being next to the person.
Yeah.
I don't think that's his intent
Hmm.
going into it. But once he finds out who Rock is, and you out here getting in, oh, bet I can be of use to you, and I can get some real bread going because this music shit ain't paying.
I don't think he needs to find out who Rock is. He told Lou who knew who he was. Yeah, he only mentioned you rep Rico Suave, but everybody knows who the Thomases are.
Yeah.
Especially if you are in the underworld. You know who the fuck them people are. He knows. So I think you do have a very good point. It's only a matter of time before the worlds start intermingling.
Yeah, he gonna be Raising Kanan's version of 2-Bit.
Mm. Maybe Be Real is Breeze.
Oh shit. All right. Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. All right, cool. I'm with it.
You
Only
know,
other thing I'll say about Lou is it's really not even about Lou. It's just that every time, almost every scene that he's mentioned in discussing music,
mm-hmm,
Famous's name gets brought up.
mm-hmm.
He got brought up with Marvin.
Yep.
Lou told Marvin, Famous in the stitch. That nigga Marvin said, "Hey man, when niggas looking at a long bid, they get real chatty."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lowell Geflin, you heard from Marvin. I can't remember her name. Starts with an S. Old girl at the bar. I'm not Marvin. It's Famous. Geflin said something about Famous.
Mm-hmm.
Old girl at the bar. You heard from Famous? Rico Suave. It's building up, y'all. Where the fuck is Famous? Who the fuck you talking to?
Streets need a body. Either
Said it.
Famous is already up out of here, he got the fuck on, or Famous is already in the upper room.
I don't think Famous. I didn't think about that, but you might be right. You might be onto something. Because it doesn't seem like, if you watch the previews for next week, it doesn't seem like there's any mention of Famous, or any appearance from Famous. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how that works. Real quick, I want to talk about Rock just very, very quickly before we end on Kanan, and I'm gonna hand it off to you. Just want to kind of tell people what Rock was going through. Quan tells her the price of the brick is going up by 20%, and she goes to Stefano, as aforementioned, as we said that her and Marvin were highlighted or observed meeting with him at two different instances. The reason she met with Stefano is because she has an idea of what if I'm the supplier. And Stefano's, of course, like, there's a lot of moving pieces that come with that. But I tell you what, if you get things in order and that shit seem legit, we can talk.
Yeah.
Once again, not anything to really deep dive into, but something the groundwork is being laid. We got to keep our eye on that this season. We'll see if Quan gets pushed up out of here and if Rock really becomes a supplier and how that works, or if that ship has sailed since Marvin's fucking up part of Stefano's business. I don't know.
I don't think it's sailed because regardless of that, Stefano, one, knows he was wrong for seeking a side deal with Marvin, but two, he knows what the fuck Rock is capable of. He knows if she figures out a way to become a distro, that it will be successful. And he knows that, just given the nature of who Rock is and him already wanting to do business with her before she kept telling him that she was out of the game. He knows.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Rachel, let's go ahead and talk about the namesake.
We on our
of the show.
Our nephew Kanan, who cannot seem to get it together. And I said it in my little opening monologue about this show, is that more and more we're seeing the chinks in Kanan's armor and are reminded that he is still just a kid. You hate your mom so much and you're getting money. How come you're not going to the laundromat to wash your clothes? Why are you going to your mama house?
Because you're still a child.
Because you're a kid. You know what I'm saying?
You're still a child.
That's what you do. And we briefly talked about it. We were trying to figure out how he does feel about Rock shooting Howard. And we learned very quickly this episode, he is harboring resentment towards her. You killed my father. So as much progress as him saving her life they made, they're right back to where they're started by her taking his father's life. And that's unfortunate. And it seems like this will be a continued cycle. We saw Garcia, and I think you just said it again, press Kanan, not just for Famous's whereabouts, but also Howard's death, because Garcia knows that there is some link between the two, because he was who brought them in before when he and Famous got in trouble, or when Famous got in trouble, and Howard is the one who got him out. I guess the biggest thing about this episode with Kanan would be the meeting with Snaps and Pop.
Yeah, before you even get into it, okay, I just want to say briefly, the overall theme of Kanan, I think, for this episode, and probably going to be the season, is him figuring out the business side of things.
Yeah.
Right? We have this discussion about soldiers. Kanan has been a soldier for Rock and for the Thomas family this entire time. Now he's trying to be the captain. He's trying to be the person who calls a shot, and he's learning, oh, it's a little bit different from this side of things. So we see his first scene when he's at his stash spot, and he got the dude, I forget his name, OC. It's good with numbers. Like, he's trying to figure out this number thing. Rock offers, do you want me to go over your books with you? My books are fine.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, which leads to the scene you're about to talk about, which of course is the biggest scene and something that's going to be hanging his head over Kanan for the next few seasons, couple seasons at least.
Yep. It's very interesting that you said that too, because OC already told Kanan the books was looking a little funny, that we needed to trim the fat somewhere. Again, a headstrong teenager who thinks that they know everything. He was receptive to OC, and he's a little weird, but whatever. But because you are angry at your mother, you won't take her advice, but you brought her to the meeting. You won't listen to what she says when she's trying to help you, but you look to her for guidance when Snaps and Pop is tripping. is it Uchi? We in Queens. Is it Uchi Wally or is it what Mike? But again, Kanan is 17 years old. So
Mhm.
it's tricky. And for him, it is both. You know what I'm saying? So we get in this meeting where we learn that Rock was the only one who didn't know what Kanan was going to do because Snaps and Pop were well aware that Kanan was going to take Ronnie out.
Mhm.
Kanan assumes the debt again because you're a kid. And Rock, for all that he knew, she did keep him away from a lot of the melee. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he didn't know that just because you took that debt didn't mean that you didn't incur some of your own. Yes, we have a business deal, but also I'm actually taking a piece of all your deals. Just like Rock told Marvin and Lou, all your pieces is my piece, is what Snaps and Pop essentially told Kanan. And that's a hard lesson to learn. I would rather learn it from my mama than some niggas on the street.
I love Rock. Rock was living for that moment when that nigga looked at her and she said, "Well, like they said, I ain't part of this conversation. This is you negotiated this deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows you get what you negotiate for.
That's it. That's
You
it.
never get what you're owed. You get what you negotiate."
Yeah.
Another important lesson
Mm-hmm.
that Kanan is finding out: learning when to shut the fuck up,
Yep.
learning when the meeting is over.
Mm-hmm.
In this line of work, you're gonna have to take some shit on the chin, my nigga.
It.
And
That's
that's
it.
just what it is. That pride, put that shit to the side and keep it moving and figure out a bigger play.
Yep.
Because as Pops or Snaps, I can't remember which one is which, Kanan told them, "You don't know shit about me. We're learning though.
We learning now. Your loyalty is tricky.
It's tricky, right? You the one that came in and wanted permission to off your business partner.
Mm-hmm.
And while I try to stay out of family affairs, you and your mother's relationship isn't the best. So if you walk around the city and everybody's an asshole, then maybe you might be the one who's the asshole. Because not everybody can be this bad of a person.
Yep. Yep.
If everybody's funny to you, maybe you the one moving funny.
The funny one. Exactly. Exactly. He gonna
And
see.
we got our eye on you. Keep that little bullshit dirt weed business.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, that horse you moving? Yes, we're
That's
part owners now.
mm-hmm.
Had you spoken to Rock, she would have told you never.
Mm-hmm.
But you wanted to prove that you can do this shit without Rock. So guess what? For the foreseeable future, you splitting this shit however many ways.
Yep.
Figure it out.
The more we see Kanan in his business and his practices, the more the easier I can see how young Ghost was able to get Kanan up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it, but now I'm saying it. I can see, for what we know James St. Patrick to have been mentally, it's very clear to me how he was able to set Kanan up to get him out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, soldier,
100%.
whatever. Ghost, cerebral, and a killer. Not
Mm-hmm.
really a soldier.
Yep.
Kanan's bravado in his adolescence is going to be the it's going to come at a downfall. It's going to cause his downfall.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's very clear. And even with all of that, even with the way the conversation went with Snaps and Pop, you still firing at your mom. Why? I'm literally trying to help you. And I'm trying to become a fucking supplier. You're so hell bent on staying in this business and doing that, this, that, and the third. Let me help you. I don't even want no piece of what you're doing. I'm trying to show you the way and
Gotcha.
keep this in the family. just like the Italians for the most part do.
To quote Hove, as we often do, try to teach niggas how to be kings, and all they ever wanted to be was soldiers.
That's it. That's it. And I
And
wanted
that's what
to
Rock is.
that's what Rock is trying to do. But I wanted to say this. Where is it?
You might have it. I have it down if it's
Another
the same
difference
thing.
between life and death and you alive, cousin me, that's a bar. You may not like my decisions, but you love the results. And that
Mm-hmm.
is what we constantly see, not just with Kanan, but with parents and children all the time. You don't
Yep.
like that I'm strict. You don't like that I'm working all the time, but you like having money. You don't like
Yep.
that I'm doing this, but you enjoy the fruits. You like that you were able to get a car before you had a license. You
Mercedes.
a Mercedes because of decisions that I made, work that I put in. You are alive because of my decisions. We know that Rock has dismissed 2 fetuses from her body.
Mm-hmm.
You are the only one that's alive because of my decision, and we don't know why. I'm hoping low key that comes about later as to
Yeah, it
why she
should.
wanted to keep Kanan and not that child. I mean, we know why she didn't keep Unique's, but I'm very curious as to what that looks like. And again, I hope that what we're starting to see is the maturation of Kanan, but it's clear he still has a lot of growing up to do. Despite having some smarts about him, he does. But he got some growing up to do.
Well said. Well said, Rachel. Do you even know the difference between right and wrong? I know the difference between life and death.
Come on.
And I meant to say this last week. It was on my mind in the last scene of the final scene of last week's episode.
Mhm.
My favorite Rock is that this ain't what we doing. We doing what I'm saying we doing. That boss up Rock. That
Mhm.
like I'm saying some shit so slick you don't even got a response for it.
Yeah.
Like everything you just mentioned, and I love the fact when she said, told that nigga you can step in. If that's how you really feel, you can step.
Mhm.
Exactly. You ain't saying shit because there ain't shit to
It ain't
say.
good to say. Mhm.
Stop playing with me. I'm Big Rock.
Not the little
You
one.
you see what going against me got you. Now you owe some other niggas some pieces. How's that working out for your numbers, your books, nigga? Yeah.
Even if you would have worked for me and just off the strength, I took a little off the top. I'm taking 5. You my son. They taking 20. What you gonna do? These are the breaks.
Straight up.
Break it up, break it up, break it up. So I don't really have anything else. I'm excited for next week. That's it. I'm excited for next week.
I'm excited for next week. Things are gonna pick up. If, like I said, if you watch the preview, we see that there are some there might be some sightings of Unique around the city.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's gonna be some fallout from the Stefano and Rock, the attorney getting murked, all of it. So got a lot to talk about. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Rachel wouldn't do this with anyone else.
Not a son.
Always enjoy this. Be on the lookout. Make sure you subscribe. Like I said, not only are we talking Raising Kanan, we have 4 more weeks of the White Lotus.
Mhm.
Hopefully they pick up. I've
Maybe.
already had my prediction. I think the shit's gonna slide out. Maybe 4 more weeks, maybe 2 more. I don't know. We'll see.
We gonna see.
But either we gonna see. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you as always. Leave a comment. Be a part of the conversation.
For
We will
sure.
see y'all next week. Queens, get the money, y'all.
Dollar bills, y'all. Peace.